saw mommy shorting Santa Claus right before that bell rang on the NASDAQ wall. She had her laptop open wide, selling red like Christmas tide. Margin calling naughty trade, she whispered velvet, let's collide. Oh, she risked it. Cookies in the oven, charts on fire, Santa's bags dropping lower than desired. She said buy the dip, but I'm the one inspired. Ha! Santa caught a fade, lost his claws and his pride. Oh, while I'm candle climbing green on the side. That's right! I saw mommy shorting Santa Claus underneath that mistletoe chart cross. She said velvet make me bullish all night long, while her P&L screaming this trade so wrong. Oh, yeah, Santa got squeezed. I took his sleigh keys, now I'm riding around the pole collecting fees. I saw mommy shorting Santa Claus, and velvet turned that red to green with ease. So smooth. She hedge fund hot, got them stockings in split. No crypto winner gonna freeze that win. She said, velvet, teach me options, I'll commit. So I gave her puts, calls, and a little dividend drip. Give me that. Santa's in the North Pole, stressing on a loss while we on the yacht watching profits gloss. She said, you the bull that broke my claw. Oh yeah. Jingle these returns, baby, cash that cheer. Ooh, we turn a sleigh into a Lambo this year. The elves all whisper, he too fly. Velvet Kohrs got Santa crying bye-bye. Ooh, I saw mommy shorting Santa Claus right before the open. What a law. She said, velvet, don't stop till we moon tonight. And them charts lit up like Christmas lights. Yeah, now Santa's bags and liquidation fees, while velvet cashes gifts with ease. I saw mommy shorting Santa Claus, and she ain't never trading back for free. Ho, ho, ho. Velvet, I
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where I am your host, Matt Kohrs, a.k.a. your favorite Oompa Loompa, and I'm a little distracted right now because something's going on in the market. The market just randomly dumped. What just happened here, folks? Am I missing some news? Over the past 2 minutes, the SPY just dropped about $2. The Q's did about the same thing. Bitcoin just took a hit. What am I missing? What is going on? What in the world is happening? There has to be something that just got announced, folks. What was the announcement? Someone help me out. Someone do my job for me. I would greatly appreciate it. What a breaking. SEC is cracking down on highly levered ETFs amid the recent surge in market volatility. Okay, that wouldn't necessarily be doing it. This was 47 minutes ago, the ADP numbers. That was an hour ago, though. What's happening? What's happening here? I'm not seeing, nothing's jumping out to me. Is it just it's still going? Are you guys seeing anything? Employment, yeah, but that came out a bit ago. That came out at 8:15, where you wouldn't be reacting at 9 a.m. This literally happened just now at 9 a.m. I'm on True Social. I'm not seeing anything from the president. The only thing I know going on right now is commentary from the ECB president, the European Central Bank. Not for the central bank to redress public finances. Growth in economic activity should benefit from increased household spending and resilient, blah, blah, blah. Effective fund rate. Okay. What? Maybe just some people. It's still going. Everything. Microsoft lowers. Oh, never mind. Microsoft lowers AI software sales quota. So is Microsoft taking a hit? It is. Microsoft just dumped 1.8%. So Microsoft lowers AI software sales quota. So I guess the AI trade is now under question, all being led by Microsoft. Microsoft lowers, yeah. Wow, the market not liking that at all, folks. It just got announced at 9 a.m. Right here, Microsoft lowers AI sales, software sales quotas as customers resist newer products. Right here, yeah, it's all breaking. Microsoft lowers AI software sales quota. I see why that would be bad for Microsoft, but feels like a little bit of an overreaction, doesn't it? Feels like it's a little bit of an overreaction, doesn't it? All right, well, we're already getting some spicy action as we are just turning the corner on the new hour, and obviously we're about 24 minutes from market open, so we're going to come back to this, see what in the world is going on with Microsoft. But first, I should prep you up for some of the other things going on. Stock futures climb as Bitcoin bounce continues. I have a feeling that the intern wrote that one a little bit too early. Right here, stock futures point to more gains despite ADP report showing job losses. So yes, we will be getting into that. Obviously, we're going to be covering whatever this new Microsoft news is, but based on what I'm seeing, it seems, like I said, like a little bit of an overreaction. But taking a step back, marathon Russia-U.S. meeting yields no Ukraine peace deal. A senior Kremlin official called the talks useful and constructive, but Ukrainian territory that Moscow covets remains a sticking point. So they're attempting to get this deal done. Kushner's there. Witkoff is there. Obviously, you have Putin is there. They're chit-chatting it. I guess they were there for 5 hours. So once again, I think one of these days we're going to get a random surprise announcement that the conflict is officially over. And we are making those painstaking steps forward. Like it's tough, but it seems like some progress is being made. So just wanted to let you know about that. Putin threatens Europe with war if it wants one as Ukraine peace talks falter. So depending on who you're reading, you just saw the Wall Street Journal seemed a little bit more reasonable. You come to CNBC and they make it seem like we are on the verge of WW Trace. Peace talks, held between US and Russia on Tuesday failed to deliver breakthrough. Russian President Vladimir Putin doubled down on threats towards Europe ahead of talks, saying Moscow was ready for war. The Kremlin said talks over a draft Ukraine peace deal would continue. So, like I said, depending on who you get your news from, you might have a completely different opinion on what in the world is happening. Trump aides cancel Fed chair interviews as President homes in on pick. Trump has signaled publicly that longtime advisor Kevin Hassett is a leading contender to head to the central bank, basically taking over for Jerome Powell. Even yesterday in the discussion with starting those new basically 401k accounts for kids, the Michael Dell and his wife donating $6.25 billion. Even in that conversation, actually, this is Michael Dell's wife right there. So he was, I guess, at the conference yesterday. Trump even kind of gave him the nod that, yeah, you're going to be the Fed chair. So the market very confident about it right here. Kevin Hassett, 84% chance that he will be the next Fed chair. So pretty high odds. The next one, the closest one, is 6%. Kevin Warsh, no one's even talking about him anymore. Speaking of the Fed chair and all that good stuff, next week, December 10th, next Wednesday, a week from today, we're going to be getting the next FOMC decision. And as of this moment, there's a 93% chance that it is, in fact, a 25 bips rate cut. So the Fed fund rate probably going down by an additional 0.25%. So just want to let you know that there's a good chance the market, I put this in the Discord this morning, the Goonie Trading Discord. Feel free to join. Your first month is 100% free. Anyway, I put it in there this morning that I think the market's going to kind of be in this grindy mode, a little bit up, a little bit down, maybe a little bit more dominated by the bulls all the way up until this. To me, this next Fed decision on, once again, December the 10th is going to be the next big, I guess, reaction point for the market and obviously all of us involved traders. Traders bet swell on Trump-backed Fed data stoking U.S. rate cuts. So not just these event-based markets such as Call C and Poly Market and Watchtool. We're actually seeing like true bets in terms of like the trading markets, really bonds and yields, come across that, yeah, we are looking at another rate cut. So the market, and you could interpret that in many different ways, across the board, pretty confident that we're getting another 25 bips rate cut. But in terms of the data that now they're a little bit reacting to, we did get the ADP non-farm employment change coming in weaker than expected. So in a weird way, I know that's a bad economic sign, but it's actually going to make the Fed and all the voting members more likely to give us a rate cut. Because remember, when your labor market gets weak, that's exactly when they want to be less restrictive. So they'll lower the Fed fund rate. And if anything, we're going to go from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing. So we've discussed this a little bit, but just to give you guys a brief refresher, sometimes in the world of monetary policy, bad economic signs, i.e. a weakening labor market, is actually good for the equities market and the crypto market and the futures market, because that means we're going to have a less restrictive monetary policy setup. And obviously the quote unquote markets react to it in a bullish manner. So I get that this wasn't that good of data, but if anything, it's going to just really shore up these bets that we're getting a 25 bips rate cut. And if the labor market continues to get weak, well, we're going to get even more and more rate cuts. And we actually might go from like full on quantitative tightening, which they're ending that now. That actually might be bringing on full on quantitative easing. So just want to let you know that I know the number is red and it's weak, and I just want to, I guess, give you a little piece of advice of make sure you're interpreting it properly. Just because we have bad jobs numbers doesn't actually mean that it's going to be bad for the equities market. I do also want to let you know at 9:45 today, 15 minutes into the trading session, we're getting more PMI numbers, and then also at 10 a.m. So at 10 a.m., we're going to be getting more information, the non-manufacturing PMI and prices, and then at 9:45, we're also getting some data. So early in the session today, we're getting information. If you're an energy trader, crude oil inventory is coming out at 10:30, and then at 2:30, Trump is speaking again. But before we get to that, I just want to let you know about the ADP. November private payrolls unexpectedly fell by 32,000, led by steep small business job cuts. The U.S. labor market slowdown intensified in November as private companies cut 32,000 workers, with small business hit the hardest. Payrolls processing firm ADP reported this morning larger businesses entailing companies with 50 or more employees actually reported a net gain. So it's small businesses that are taking a hit right now. The ADP report is the last monthly jobs picture the Fed will get before the December 9th, 10th FOMC meeting. It's a 2-day meeting, but we get the results on the 10th. So I don't want anyone to get confused on that. But once again, this is the last major jobs data. There is technically PCE inflation data coming out this Friday, but as long as inflation isn't incredibly sky high, the fact that we're seeing the labor market continue to weaken, it's a done deal. As done of a deal as it could be without being 100% guaranteed that we are in fact getting a 25 bips rate cut. Delayed tariff impact starting to hit could cause companies to reduce headcount in 2026. So you're kind of getting the vibe that across the board, we already know various Fed members, and not just in the US, globally, have been kind of not the insane like alarm bells of, oh my God, the labor markets is horrible. But they've been kind of bringing up, not trending the way we want it. The numbers could be stronger, that type of information. And it does look like as if the job situation is at potential risk of getting worse in 2026. Now, remember, just because I'm saying that, that's not necessarily bad for the equities market. It's not necessarily bad for the crypto market. It might end up being horrible, but remember, there's other things at play, and the equation itself is a little bit more complicated than, hey, the stock market does as well as the economy. The stock market and the economy are correlated, but sometimes they actually end up doing the exact opposite of each other because of monetary policy. So I would say who's really in the driver's seat right now is the Fed, what's going on with monetary policy, and not even necessarily 100% the Fed fund rate. I would say it's very important to pay attention to any of this discussion related to quantitative easing, also known as QE. Now, the new thing on the schedule for today is right here, 2:30, President makes an announcement. We had one yesterday. That was the whole Michael Dell and his wife donating $6.25 billion to start investment accounts for kids born over the next how many ever years. This one has nothing to do with that. Trump administration to announce new fuel economy standards today, Wednesday. So this might be impacting specific, I guess, automaker companies. Maybe this is going to have an impact on Stellantis, Ford, Toyota, Tesla. But that's the announcement today. So we're probably not going to be streaming it because it seems a little bit boring, not directly impacting the overall market. But hey, just in case you're, I don't know, really into fuel economy standards and you care about that, I just wanted to let you know that they are chit-chatting at 2:30 today. With respect to individual companies, we're technically in earnings season, but I don't think many care about these. Early this morning, we did hear from Macy's. Macy's posts strongest growth in more than 3 years, but strikes cautious note on holidays. And then other than that, when the market closes today, maybe you want to care about Salesforce, Snowflake, C3 AI, tomorrow morning, Kroger, Dollar General, DocuSign after the market closes on Thursday, Hewlett Packard right there, HP. So maybe you want to care about a couple of these. Feel free to screenshot this or just go to the Twitter account at eWhispers. Not necessarily earnings, but it might start having earnings soon. Anthropic, another player in the AI space. You might know of Claude. Anthropic reportedly preparing for one of the largest IPOs ever in race with OpenAI. Anthropic is weighing a massive IPO while also exploring fresh private funding over the $300 billion mark. That is a lot. The AI firm has reportedly engaged Wilson and major banks as the startup races OpenAI for a public listing. The potential listings would test investor appetite for the high burn AI firms amid bubble fears and surging valuations. So Anthropic making a rush for that quote unquote public door, getting all that public money. So potentially maybe in the first half of this upcoming year, we might see Anthropic actually hit in the public markets for, I think it'd be interesting. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of investing into fresh IPOs. Generally, you find that they're overpriced. And if you wait a little bit, even if you like the company, you can tend to have a little bit of patience and get it in at a cheaper price. But anyway, it would be kind of interesting with these LLMs. I'm talking about OpenAI, obviously Claude, all those like ChatGPT, that type of stuff. As soon as they're a public company, obviously they're required by the SEC and FINRA and FTC to give us quite a bit of information. So to be able to track this concept of the AI bubble a little bit more lucidly could be interesting. So just wanted to share that with you. Definitely gonna I guess get some heads to turn, if you will, as we get closer and closer. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, mattkohrs.locals.com. My mod will put it in chat. It's also in the description of the video. This comes to your email inbox every single weekend. It's 100% free. I break down what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for earnings, cheat sheet for all the major macroeconomic events. I do want to remind you that today, 15 minutes into the trading session, and then again 30 minutes into the trading session, we will be getting some non-manufacturing PMI and price information. With respect to seasonality, today is neutral. Over the past 27 years worth of information, at first it was bullish, then it was neutral, then recently it fell off, and over the past year it ended up pumping again. So right now it nets out to being nothing, but that doesn't mean the day itself is going to be choppy. I think that there are some people watching the show who misinterpret the daily results to be the intraday results, and this is just if you bought it open, sold at close on the S&P 500 futures market, how your account would look. It has nothing to do with the intraday auction. So just because the day itself nets out to be neutral, that doesn't mean the price action today is going to be choppy. Of course, it might be choppy, but that just would be the improper interpretation of what this data is. Tomorrow is also neutral, and then Friday is actually very evidently bullish. So we might be getting, maybe if seasonality kicks in, a little bit of a bullish tailwind heading into the weekend. So I just wanted to put that on anyone's radar. All right, coming back to Microsoft, it still is, wow, the SPY went all the way to yesterday's low. The Q went all, wow, dude, that the market is hating. Where it was breaking news, where was it? I wanted to dive a little bit more. Did they not even put it on their homepage yet? So if you're coming in here today thinking, oh wait, they're talking about it. What's he have? What's Jimbo have for us? Well, we'll know to do the exact opposite.
Up 1/10, actually delivers up exactly 1/10. And on the utilization rates, 75.9.
Here's our boy, Rick.
75.9. This is a big miss. We're expecting a number closer to 77. These numbers have been trending weak. 75.9 would be the weakest.
Goosed,
well, the
folks.
second weekest of the year outside of January, when it was 75.6. In January, It was the weakest since November 24 at 75.2, and that was the weakest going all the way back to 21. So utilization rates have been running on the light side. No exception here. It's pretty hard to get excited on manufacturing indeed. And maybe down the road, as onshoring becomes more prevalent, these numbers may pick up a bit. There's also a revision the last month that
25,678 all the way down to 423.
Exactly the number we have this September,
a 250 point
Carl,
shift.
back to you.
All right. Busy morning, Rick. Thank you, Rick Santelli. As we went to break a moment ago, we were wondering what might have broken the futures, Jim. It might be this piece out of the information arguing that Microsoft has lowered some sales quotas on AI software.
Yeah, I got to see more about this.
It really feels like an overreaction.
We're seeing companies that are doing better in AI and worse in AI. And I happen to think that Microsoft has a terrific AI business. I'd like to speak to Satya Nadella or Amy Hood before I draw conclusions here, because every channel check that I have, and the ones I do are like kind of people who are at things are pretty good. And because the PC refresh is so good, it's been a boon to Windows, but obviously everyone just cares about AI. This is one where I obviously got to watch, because you notice that Microsoft stock has been underperforming.
Yeah.
But Microsoft's too great a company for me to say this without having speaking to them myself.
Yeah, it is one report. They're citing 2 salespeople in the Azure cloud unit. They do point out it doesn't happen very often where Microsoft would lower a quota.
No, it's very significant. I don't want to be the person who says, who gets the call from Microsoft saying, did you bother to check with us? Because this is very serious what they're saying, and it'll be very, very bad. And I want to be sure I know my facts before I say
as customers resist for newer products.
That's what you don't do. I mean, you can look at this report, you can mention the report, but then you have to get Microsoft's side, not from 2 salespeople, because Microsoft's a pretty great company. I want to know this for sure before I say. I mean, this is like, let's say Meta came out and said, you came out that Mark Zuckerberg says, well, all right, we're not doing that. I mean, you crushed the stock, and I wouldn't have spoken to Mark. I can't do that.
Well, we're going to hear from, for example, Dario Modi of Anthropic at Dealbook later on today.
Yes, that would be
Jensen
important.
Huang's going to Washington to talk to some lawmakers.
And
you had AWS on last night.
Business is so strong there, it's almost impossible for them to meet the demand. They have these new products. Only talking about 80% of the companies are still moving to the cloud. The new tools that they gave make it so that it's much easier to move, and when you get there, it's terrific for AI. So one of the reasons why I'm a little circumspect of Microsoft was that, you have Amazon Web Services, and I'd say it's unqualified Google. I mean, this reInvent conference was incredible. I'm glad that I got to be able to speak to the CEO, because business is so strong that it's hard for me to believe that Microsoft business isn't strong.
Right. We've been through the Gemini Google game. Of course, now with the reInvent presentation yesterday.
All right, they're not saying the most interesting stuff at this point. So the news is they lowered their sales quotas for AI-related software, as I guess they're calling out a kind of a pushback from the consumer right here. This is the news of why we dropped, which seems not that impactful to me. Well, obviously it had an impact. It seems as if it shouldn't have had this big of an impact. Microsoft lowers AI software sales quotas as customers resist newer products. So that's what came out at 9 a.m. And that's exactly when we started to dump right here, 9:01. And obviously, as people are calling it the culprit, you have Microsoft dropping from 489 all the way down to 477, even Bitcoin taking a hit, going from 93.2 thousand. It's kind of holding 92.2. Bitcoin's actually bouncing back a little bit. And then all of that, obviously, the VIX spiking from 16 up to 17. So we're already getting a little bit of frothiness, obviously, this morning. I should probably be moving Microsoft up because we definitely need to be watching this today. Based on the news, this doesn't really... I don't know, maybe I'm missing something here, but it doesn't feel as if this should have had that big of an impact. I mean, we dumped all the way to yesterday's low. If you look at what was going on in the SPY this morning, right here, the 5-minute, we were looking pretty good. We were actually, not long ago, at 8:15 this morning, we were touching yesterday's high, and now in that news, we're at yesterday's low. So we've gone from basically 684, the high 683s, all the way down to the mid 679. Wow. That was a hit, and I I don't see that being that like extreme of a piece. This feels like an overreaction, and maybe it's just because it was pre-market. It is low liquidity, low trading volume. It doesn't take that much money to move it a bigger size because we're not in regular trading hours. But if anything, if my thesis is right here, this is actually arguably good then, because we'll be able to get in at a lower price. So if I start to see a recovery out of the gate, I'd be pretty happy with that. And look at the options market. Look at all that. So we do have some support here at 6,800. We're currently trading at 6,814. There is a positive gamma node at 6,815. I'm looking for this support to hold at 6,800. I do want to remind you, and this is important here. Let me go to the daily. There is a downside gap fill at 6,776. So we're roughly where my cursor is, just above 6,800. This is where we're scheduled to open. So pretty much at the lows yesterday, pretty much at the low of Monday. If this shelf right here at 6,800, key technical level, key psychological level, key gamma level, if this does not hold, your natural target would be this downside gap fill at 6,776.4. It is the high from Tuesday, November the 25th. If we break 6,800, once again, that is a very natural target. Personally, I wouldn't be, unless we get more information on why people are overreacting to this, I wouldn't be shooting past that. I don't mind that as a short trade. I mean, obviously, we all know the odds of downside gap fills, and also we'd be snapping this level. So I would be targeting that on the break. However, if we start to bounce off of 6,800 or if we start to bounce off of 6,776, yes, I kind of like that for the recovery play. So obviously, always have your bull case, have your bear case, understand it. Don't be married to one side or the other. But I think the market open itself will be pretty telling, because we'll be able to see options flow. And actually, what I want to specifically do is track the options flow on Microsoft, because I think that's going to be the most telling. So we're going to get a little bit more information starting in 4 minutes. We'll track the options flow on Microsoft, on the Mag 7, and then also on the entire S&P 500. And of course, we'll be able to see the gamma structure as well. But I do want to point out to you, stability is coming back, but we're still, as a magnitude level, not that high. We only have 33% stability, which just is kind of a measure of volatility. We have a decent chunk of negative gamma, pretty much below 6,900. Right here, it's updated to be below 6,880. And then right here on the bottom, you have more positive gamma at 6,800, 6,780. So this is negative gamma. That is the red. Remember, that is not bullish or bearish. It is slippery price action. So basically, within this zone, expect larger ranges, and you can kind of see why we're getting it, because we have such a choppy structure over here on the GEX today. Obviously, stability above, stability below, and within it, just expect those swings in that choppiness. So with it, once again, it is not bullish or bearish. It is just expect larger ranges. And then when you have positive gamma, that's this purple area, that's more of sticky price action, and that's where you just kind of get like the sideways grind type of it. But I do want to remind you, this overall structure has been changing quite a bit in the first half hour of the day. So if I'm all of a sudden paying attention to something else and I'm seemingly not thinking of it, feel free to yell at me and remind me to come back to this probably around 10:15 in the morning, just because over the past couple of training days, it's not just been a little bit of a shift. There's been a major shift in the first half hour-ish of trading. So like I said, if I seem to not be checking in on this, you might want to remind me to come over here. And then of course, throughout the day, we're also going to be very much watching what in the world is going on with options flow today. Seemingly very important, especially with Microsoft. Man, I mean, obviously we're just covering this news together in real time. Am I missing something, or do you guys agree with me that this seems to be quite a bit of an overreaction on the Microsoft news? I mean, Microsoft is currently getting clapped. It is down 2.88% and going and getting worse. Bitcoin's already bouncing back a little bit, but doesn't it just seem like this doesn't make the most sense? Like the panicins? Yeah, it does feel like there's panicins. Unless maybe you guys are reading a different news source and maybe it is more, I guess, dramatic than I'm interpreting it. But based on everything we've seen, and granted, we don't have that much information, so I don't want to say like I'm the end-all, be-all expert on this, because we're just reading one piece of news. But it really does seem like an overreaction. Like it really, really feels like an overreaction. Yeah, I'm not. No, that has nothing to do with Microsoft. We got some of the jobs data. Trump admin plans to accelerate U.S. robotics development. Okay. MicroStrategy in talks with MSCI over possible index removal. Okay, that's not what's going on. Trump says he's abolishing income tax. That was yesterday. OpenAI's Code Red announcement 23 hours ago. The irony of the announcement: Google is the first tech giant to issue a Code Red. Okay, I don't know, folks. I'm seeing, like I said, I'm seeing a bit of an overreaction if you ask me, but hey, that is just one guy's opinion, and maybe you agree with me, maybe you disagree with me, but you know what really matters is the actual price. So maybe we should just wait for the market to open. And on that note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all, play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, folks, the opening bell is brought to you by Take Profit Trader, TPT. Not only can you get 30% off, there's no activation fee, and you can get 100% of your initial test refunded to you on your first payout approval. All you have to do is use code Goonie, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. The deal is so nice, I got myself the accounts as well. Once again, you get a nice 30% off. There is no activation fee. And after you pass the eval and go over to the performance account, and you're trading now for actual money, on your first payout approval, you get your initial test fee back. So you can actually go from now all the way to your payout for completely free, and then on top of that, you'd be getting a payout. So actually, it's even better. So check it out, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. This is currently the best deal out of the prop firms that I trust, and once again, code Goonie will get you access to that. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And things are a little frothy out of the gate. Oh, I guess I should let you know, this is going to get a little silly. You guys can't see it. But over here, I have the newest and bestest version of Icarus. And when I say the newest and bestest, I have no idea if it's the best. I do know that it's new because I wrote it this morning. And you might be thinking to yourself, but Matt, if you wrote it this morning, what time did you get up? And the answer to that is I got up at my normal time to get ready for the show, which means that there's literally no chance that I backtested this at all. I didn't even spot check it. When I checked it out, I was like, oh, maybe this works, maybe it doesn't work. So we were running the newest version of Icarus on 5 take profit accounts and also 5 performance Apex accounts. So we're gonna rip it live. Fuck it, ship it. We're doing it in production today. So we're gonna see how this one. I don't know. I just figure, what's the worst that can happen? You just blow out these accounts again. So yeah, there's no sanity checking. There's no back test. There's nothing. I'm letting you know straight out of the gate. We're just ripping it. So it's on. The volume's on. You're going to hear it. I'm not running it on all 25 accounts. The 15 bigger buffer accounts, I will be manually trading, which let me make sure that is set up properly. Yes, it does appear to be set up properly, I think. Yeah, it is. And then so 15 of the accounts, I will be manually trading one variant of Icarus. And then the newest variant of Icarus is already completely, I don't know, botted up and ready to rip it. But anyway, I'm waiting to see what this market open has for us. If you ask me, it feels like an overreaction to this Microsoft news, but hey, we will be finding out. Did my position on public, if you're in the Discord, did my position get hit? Oh, it did. Okay, folks, the Apple position got full profit. Apple position did get full profit. Target hit. So if once again, if you're in the Goonie Training Discord, I've been in that Apple play, the bull put spread, and I got my target hit. So just wanted to let you know that as of this moment, it is flat. So what was this? 3 days of 8 with 1,500 profit on Apex. Let's go. Sloppy Bob. Congrats to you, man. Congrats to you. So we're almost back up to that closing value. It does appear, these are my key levels of the day, as I always do. I mark out the previous high, low, and close. That is the green, the red, and the white. The white box is the transition zone. The yellow horizontal lines are the key areas where a lot of money is at those strikes, key gamma areas. And then this downside gap fills at 6776.40. That is the high from sometime last week. But overall, we opened up in this transition zone, pretty much right at a key gamma level. We're pushing up. The top of the transition zone today happens to be yesterday's closing value, roughly around 6,830. So we almost hit that. We just popped up to 27. I'm looking for this retest. If you right now, for some reason at market open, had a bullish position, your first natural target would be yesterday's closing value, that classic red to green test. Once again, when I say red to green, I mean literally we would be moving from down on the day to at positive on the day, or at least neutral. So that would be my test there. But obviously I have on no position at this moment on a zero DTE perspective. Hey, Matt, are you staying on here for the IMS? I don't think that's what you mean. The ISM numbers. I think there's a little typo there. Yeah, that's literally in 10 minutes. Or no, technically that's at 10 a.m. So we get the S&P global service numbers at 9:45, and then the ISM non-manufacturing PMI and prices, that comes out at 10 a.m. But am I staying? Yeah, I mean, I don't plan on turning the show off in the next 25 minutes. Generally, we hang out for a little bit longer, but if you want me to ditch early today, if you guys don't like me anymore, yeah, we could leave. We can make that happen. Tesla's having a good day. Tesla's actually, I think, already getting a technical breakout. I think that was one of my alerts. Yeah, it did. Tesla firing off a bull signal. Tesla's looking good. 442 would be your technical follow through, and then you get a nice technical breakout at 450, also a psychological level. But Tesla getting a very nice bounce from 385 all the way up to 435. Looking good on Tesla. Meta's even trying to recover there. Google is just basing after making an all-time high. Rumble is back above $7. Remember, this is across the market that at least the universe of stocks that I pay attention to, Rumble's becoming a legitimate short squeeze play. Maybe you missed this a little bit yesterday, so I'll just give you the numbers on it. But Rumble recently popping 33%, which is putting a lot of pressure on the growing amount of shorts. Coming into this morning market open, the short interest was 25%. The cost to borrow is skyrocketing. The short score keeps going up. Shares on loan are 54 million. Ortex is estimating that the actual shorts is 27, but once again, that's an estimate. It could be as high as 54. The average cost to borrow right now today is 32%, and the utilization is pretty much maxed out. So this, remember, when it comes to a short squeeze play, those are the type of metrics that you need for, I guess maybe the best metaphor is like, that is the gasoline. And just because you have the gasoline, that doesn't mean you're going to get a fire. So just because you have high short interest, that doesn't mean you're going to have a short squeeze, but obviously it's a prerequisite. So the short interest is there, and as the stock continues to go higher, it's just going to be putting more pressure, because on a relative basis to wherever they got in, as the stock goes up and up and up, they are losing money. Obviously, that's what it happens when you're short and the stock goes up. So however short they are at whatever price, obviously as the stock continues higher, they're going to feel more pressure, and then all of a sudden you might get that snowball effect of one guy decides to close, which causes it to go higher, because remember, to get out of a short you have to buy it back, so that puts a natural buyer in the market, and then as that goes higher it might cause the next guy to get out, and like I said, it's kind of a domino effect. Is a short squeeze mean it's only good short term, right? What? Short squeeze just means that people are betting against it, and as it goes higher, like just think of the inverse. If you're long a stock and it starts to go down and down and down, you feel pressure and you decide to get out. The difference is that if a stock were to fall, it can only fall to zero. In a short squeeze, there is no, like, technically there's no limited risk. It's unlimited risk, because you could just keep squeezing and squeezing. Wake me up when the shorts cover on Rumble. It doesn't really exactly work like that, because remember, shorts can cover, but then new shorts can always step into the game. It's not like when the shorts cover, they're completely done, because the market is made up of many, many traders, so more traders can come in. So there is a hypothetical situation in which the initial shorts get blown out, but then new shorts come in at whatever the new price is. So the short interest can remain the same, or in fact, actually increase, even though some of the initial players get blown out. I mean, the bullish movement will be short-term, not long-term because of the short squeeze. No, once again, that's just a random assumption you're making. Like the AMC short squeeze. There's been research done on like specifically, like I'm talking about the mechanics of what happened with AMC, and that actually was more of a gamma squeeze. And of course, nothing in the world, really in this world in general, but specifically in the markets, you can never really point and be like, oh, that was 100% the reason. Yes, there were shorts. Yes, some of the shorts got blown out. But if you look at like the dollar value of like really what was happening there, it was more of a phenomena in the world of options and people just really punting into out of the money calls. And then as the price got closer, the market makers were forced to buy to hedge out their book. And then we just ripped and ripped and ripped because you had a gamma squeeze. And of course, as you go higher, that can put pressure on the short squeeze. And then if the shorts cover, that goes higher. So then you have more of the FOMO getting into gamma. So like it does ping pong back and forth. Like I'm not going to be the person saying, nope, this is exclusively why. But if you look at the dollar value of like, okay, if you look at AMC that day that it ripped like whatever, 96% or something like that. If you look at the dollar value of what was happening in terms of shorts getting blown out, or looking at the purchasing from market makers because of all of the options, there was more purchasing on the option side than there was shorts covering. I'm not saying the other one didn't exist, but in terms of just...
Order submitted.
What? Hang on. What the fuck was this? That's not right. Hopefully it gets filled, but... No. That doesn't look right. What time is it? It's 9:41. Son of a bitch. How did it get that bad of slippage? Also, how did I get a fill? This doesn't make sense. How did I get a fill at a price that we didn't hit? Look at this. The low right here on the screen is 66.50 and I got a fill at 66.25. How? Someone riddle me that. How do you get a fill at a price we didn't touch? The low right here, 66.50, and they gave me a fill at 66.25. It's gonna be one of those days, team, isn't it? It's gonna be one of those days. Fuck. Someone riddle me that, Batman. Someone riddle me that, Batman. Yeah, this isn't good. I wonder if I should just manually close it out and give these a fighting chance or just let it rip. And to clarify, that's not necessarily a code issue. It looks like I'm coming to get my fill anyway. I just don't know how they gave me a price that we weren't at that price. That's not slippage. Slippage, like, that's where your order gets hit and then by the time you get the fill, but it should still be at like prices that were traded at. Your slippage is just the distance from like where your trade was executed versus to where you got the fill. That's slippage. This is seemingly a different issue. If I got a fill at a price, the low at that point was 66.50. I got a fill at 66.25. Like we literally just weren't there, which is kind of crazy if you really think about it. So I'm hoping for a little bit of a drop, a bit of a baby drop to save these accounts. A bit of a baby drop, if you will. Come on, just get the fill. No. It's not even going for that much profit. I cannot believe that happened. Come on, man. Be cool about it. Just give me my money. Just give me my money. Bad fills are a known issue with Trade Evade and Project X. Rhythmic fills are better, generally speaking. I 100% disagree with you. Do you know how many times we've been here showing crazy stuff happening on Rhythmic? I think the fills are in this SIM-defunded world are bad across the board, and I have a suspicion it's because of the other checks they have to do of, is your account live? How many contracts are you trading? This, that, the other thing. But to say that Rhythmic is generally speaking better, no. You're just making that up. That's a personal bias thing. None of them are good, and my evidence for that is like literally shown on stream to everyone. Where I'm like, wow. One of the issues I have was with Rhythmic that a lot of like you have seen is it tells me I'm in positions when I'm not. And apparently that's a known issue as it connects to NinjaTrader. But it literally is just like, yeah, totally. You're long or short right now. And then you actually have no position whatsoever. Hey, I was green for a second there. Dude, this volatility is really picking up. I almost wonder if I should size down because I don't like that it's trading 2 contracts. So maybe when it gets out of this position, I can quickly change that. Actually, I know the easiest way to change that. Hang on one second. Fuck. I almost got that, Phil. Hang on. No. Ninja script editor. I can manually switch that over here. Hold on tight. Brother? Set profit target. No, that's not it. Hang on, I'm just quickly updating this motherfucker. This is getting crazy today. Okay, here's what we're doing. Come on, give me the ding. All right, cool. Code is updated, but I can't obviously change this play until it's over. So ideally, as soon as this gets hit, fuck, it is going against me, isn't it? Oh, do I just want to manually close this out? How do I want to handle it? Or do I just want to let it rip? Or do I want to close one contract? How do I want to do it? This is not looking good. The fact that it got to 65 and did not give me my fill doesn't give me the best of vibes here. Let's see. How do I want to manage? This? Let's see what the options flow is. Let's see. How to manage this. All right. Microsoft options flow is down. Mag 7 is flat and choppy. S&P 500 was going up and now going down. So I might get lucky here. The fact that the delta was going up was not good for me. Now we're taking a little bit of a hit. Fuck. It kind of depends on how the market is reacting to the data that just dropped. We just got the S&P Global basically the services PMIs. Come on. I just need a lucky fill here. And then ideally, as soon as I get the lucky fill, all I have to do is disable the bots and then re-enable them, and I should be good. But that's a big if. That is a giant if, my brother. My vibes are low on this. That one was at 9:44, 10 seconds before this data came out, was probably the time I had to get the fill. I don't know. Maybe I get lucky at this rejection at 500. We're going on pure luck today. And then ideally I get lucky enough that I can then just quickly update it. Even a test of 15 should give me my fill over here. Come on. Oh, is Lucky Mac going to strike? Fuck. Wow. How the fuck can you get a fill at a price that wasn't traded at? That doesn't make sense. Damn. It just keeps finding the support here. I'm watching 500, but part of me just wants to manually close it out because I was really actually excited to collect data on this strategy, this variant of the strategy. Come on, just one lucky. Come on. I'm not even saying I want some like catastrophic sell-off. I don't even necessarily care about a new intraday low. I just wanted the fill right here. Come on. I put on my lucky cardigan for this. My lucky cardigan for this. Dude, how close can I get without getting a fill? Don't worry, Matt always makes 30K per day. I wish, man. Right now, it's not looking so good, but maybe. Remember, when it comes to the world of trading, it's far, far better to be lucky than it is skillful. And I've coasted through a lot of my life on pure luck, and I'm hoping that pans out for me again today. Dude, just get the fill. This is just teasing.
Target filled.
There we go. We made some money. All of that, almost blowing out the accounts for just $90. Are you kidding me? All right, so I need to disable all of these. Disable, enable. All right, so I did change the code a little bit. Nothing crazy. I hope I did it right. And now that I disabled and re-enabled it, it should be as expected. Yeah, fuck it. It's live now. Nothing I can do about it. It is live now. Because the chart shows the mid price only. Ask when you fill your bid and when you're talking about correlation formulas. No, that's not how it works. Because the chart shows you the mid price only. No, the chart is showing you where we've traded at. That's the number of the last trade. What do you mean of the mid? This is like, you can see above my head, like these are the trades hitting. And as we hit, it goes to that value. This is updating to literally the last trade. What you think the chart is only showing you the mid, like literally just halfway through the bid and the ask? You think that's what it's showing you? This is what I don't get is like people state these things as if they're so confident and it's so easily disproven because the chart shows the mid price only. No, that's not how charts work, actually.
Order
in fact,
submitted.
Did it
Target filled.
So that one worked, right? Anyway, I think it worked right, at least. We're going to find out. Data. Text and marker. But why is it not showing that then? Well, somehow the first trade, lucky as fuck. Second trade was really fast. Already got locked in. Send me the code and you'll review it for me. I'm not going to send it to protect yourself because this thing, literally the first trade was already rogue, brother. It was already rogue. Like, you don't want something that I'd feel bad. It would be, you'd want to do the opposite. This thing has 0 reviews, highly dangerous. It would be not good. I wanted
submitted.
What the fuck, dude?
Target filled.
What's going on over here? All right, we're already up to 200. It happened so fast I missed it. I don't know if it was long or short. I feel like I should have maybe tested this a little bit, folks. I feel like this is getting. Oh, is it working properly? Jury's out. The jury is out on if this is doing what it's supposed to be doing. We don't have enough data. What is happening? Well, that doesn't look so good. I don't know. It's green, and the fact that it's green makes me wonder if I should just turn it off. The rise of the machines has begun. Hey, I don't mind if we get taken over by machines. I just hope my machine knows how to trade and can also make me money, you know? I just don't want one of those crappy trading machines. I want like one of the good ones. Is that too much to ask for? 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute are definitely bearish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, definitely bearish. 4 hours still bullish. So NQ in the shorter time frames, once again, the 5, the 10, and the 30, and also for ES, the 5, the 10, and the 30, momentum is currently favoring the bears. In terms of key levels, we have not snapped 6,800. If we do, you'd be looking for the very evident target of 6,776.40. That is the downside gap fill that you can still see on the chart right here. Let me get rid of that arrow. It is the high from Tuesday, November the 25th. Once again, 676.40. I'd be looking for that as the target if we snap this shelf of 6,800. Okay, hang on. If I did this right, what's the flow looking like? Microsoft's flow is not good. Mag 7 just took a hit. The S&P 500 now. Okay. If this gets smacked, I'm pretty sure if I did it right, it should trade here. If I coded this right, if we get smacked, it should take a short position. Obviously, first it has to get smacked, but that's why I'm watching it, because it should go short at some point right here. Hello? I thought it should be short right now. I thought we saw green, 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 green. We get smacked. It showed red. I thought it should have gone. What did I think? I fucked it up somehow. Why did it not go short, team? Teamity, team. Why did it not go short? Why did it not go short? Oh, that's frustrating. It should have taken the reversionary trade and then risked whatever this high was, and it didn't short. Something's wrong. When you code, are you using if-then type coding? Yeah, I mean, it's basically C#. So yeah, you're going to have those like Boolean statements or conditionals that will resolve to either a Boolean true or false. But I'm coding this on Ninja Script, which is in the NinjaTrader platform. And it's Ninja Script is basically just C#. And so if you know C#, it'll be really, really easy. And even if you don't know C#, it's still relatively easy because of you could use ChatGPT, you could use Claude, you could use Gemini. I mean, there's so many tools out there, all these AIs that can help you code even if you don't know how to code at all, that it makes your life very, very easy. So if you're watching this and you're like, hey, I want to write code that does stuff for me, it's actually really simple right now. Like, you don't have to have any coding knowledge. So SPY getting a little bit of a bounce. Remember, there is data coming out at 10 a.m. We are getting the ISM right here. Why is this not working? Why can't I spell properly? We are getting the ISM non-manufacturing PMI and prices at 10 a.m. So in about 2 minutes. I was about to throw on a short trade myself, but at this point, I might as well wait. It looks like Microsoft is continually knocking on this breakdown door at 475. Options flow is trending down. Mag 7 is choppy. Looks like a EKG of someone on drugs. S&P 500 did get hit, attempting to recover. Price is going flat. We're holding on to 21. So for the second time today, we found support at 15. What time is it? Oh, I still don't know why this didn't trade short. I'm not saying it would have even made money yet, but I still thought on this first red bar, it should have gone short. I guess I must have messed something up. But that's what I get for barely looking at the code and doing a total of 0 back testing and pretty much just going on vibes, if I'm being honest. Hey, Matt, do you think it would be super cool to make a video of how to make code step by step? Do you think it'd be super cool if that video is already out there? And in fact, there's an entire series of that out there for free that you can consume today, right now, and go from having 0 coding knowledge to, by the end of today's trading session, having a functioning bot. Well, not only would it be cool, but boy, oh boy, is it reality. It is up there. I have a 4-part video series that you can watch for free on YouTube, on Rumble, that you just watch it and copy it, and then you could put in your own criteria for when it trades. And literally by the end of today, you could have your own working bot. And just to be clear, I don't try. It's free. It's just it's a video series that I think is a 4-part video series. But it is. You don't have to know how to code. Obviously, it'll be a little bit easier. Like just in general, if you're dealing with coding, it'll be a little bit easier. But it's not a prerequisite. All right, is the news out? Oh, what? Which way are we going? The ISM news just dropped, and I guess the market liked it. All right, so PMI higher than expected, and prices, okay, good. Where's our boy Rick? They should be bringing Rick on to break it down for us, but the market liking the news? Are you a millionaire? Only in friendship dollars, not in financial dollars. But friendship dollars are the main currency I like to deal with. Is it all on the Matt Strats page? I wish, dude. That's when I peaked making content. All right. That scared the shit out of me. But let's see if our boy Rick's here.
Good Wednesday morning. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm Sarah Eisen with Carl Quintanilla and Michael Santoli. We are live at Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange.
Spy's almost
David Faber
green
has the
again
morning
on the
off.
day.
We've got a big interview coming
Once
up in just a moment. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick joins us to talk
Lutnick
tariffs,
is joining.
the economy, the Trump administration's latest investment news, and much more.
All right, we should probably listen to
Krishna
that.
Guha will be with us to dissect today's weaker jobs number and how it could impact next week's Fed decision. And Microsoft under some pressure right now as the report just out raises concerns about demand for its AI agents. More on that story straight ahead.
Working our way through some services data. Let's get back to Rick Santelli with ISM.
Rick's
Hey, Rick.
in chat.
Yes,
Rick's
these are
in
ISM
chat.
PMIs, as you mentioned, Carl. They have no mid-month reads, so these are fresh November reads. A mixed bag here. 52.6 the headline. Better than expectations, sequentially higher than our last look at 52.4, and it's the best number since Feb of this year. And if you look at prices paid, and we'd rather have this go down, well, it is less than expectations. We're looking for 68 plus,
Good
comes
numbers.
in at 65.4, much lower than 70 in the rearview mirror. That's the lightest on prices paid since April of this year. New orders, 52.9. Now, here's a bit of a mixed bag. Yes, it's above 50, but it's definitely below last month at 56.2. This will be the weakest since SEP of this year. And finally, on the employment front, on a week we're supposed to get the big jobs report, but we're not going to get it. 48.9. Once again, it's under 50. That's not good, but it is sequentially higher than our last look at 48.2. It's the best since May of this year. If you sum it all
Market
up,
is
basically
going.
it really is kind of a mixed bag in services. Some good news. The good news here maybe is prices paid moving a bit down. We're hovering right now right around 406.5 in a 10-year. That's down about 3 basis points.
I think we make
Same
a full
for
recovery.
a 2-year, down about 3
Well, the
basis
SPY already
points.
has.
Watch the yield curve. It's hovering at 58 plus near
SPY's already green on the day.
wide. Sarah,
SPX is green
back
on the
to
day.
you.
Okay, Rick, thank you. Rick Santelli. A number of big headlines on the trade front this week. The U.S. and the U.K. announcing a deal to secure zero tariffs on British pharma products. Meantime, the general tariff rate on imports from South
Intraday
Korea,
high,
including
SPY and
autos,
Qs. SPY's
drops to
already green again on the day,
retroactive
and the
to
Qs
November
aren't far
1st.
off. We have about
Bring in
another
U.S. Commerce Secretary
70
Howard
cents to
Lutnick
go.
at the center of all
Tesla's
of these
looking good. Even
discussions.
Microsoft is now
Welcome,
catching a
Mr.
bid.
Secretary. It's good to have you.
Oop.
Great to see you.
So before we get into some of these trade negotiations and deals, I do want to ask you about the recent economic data, because today we learned that the private sector is losing jobs. Small business getting hit really hard. Negative number in front of ADP. And one of the reasons that they cite is tariffs. So do you worry about some of the economic fallout here as these tariffs really take hold?
No, it's not tariffs. Remember, you had the Democratic shutdown, right? And what do you think happens to small business?
This is the U.S. Commerce Secretary.
The U.S. government, they know they're not getting paid, so they sort of slow down their projects. So you saw a little bit even of construction of small business down. So the Democratic shutdown hurt the numbers. And then remember, as you deport people, that's going to suppress private job numbers of small businesses. But they'll rebalance and they'll regrow. So I think this is just a near-term
Mag
event,
7
and
starting at
you'll see as the numbers
953,
come through over
ripping.
the next couple of months. You'll
S&P
see that all
500,
pass.
same thing,
And next year, the
953
numbers are
started
going
to
be
really pop.
fantastic. I think because the jobs of
5 minute
building
is trying to go from
America,
bearish to
as Donald
bullish.
Trump
Same with
talks
the
about,
10 minute. We might be
huge
seeing a
President
trend
Trump talks
flip.
about huge construction
Same thing
projects
here.
coming to
5 minute
America.
and 10
I think
minute
you're
are
gonna see
pretty much
GDP next
testing.
year, superb, over 4%.
I mean, you can definitely point
Next
to the
stop is
shutdown, but
40.
we hear all the time that businesses do struggle with tariffs
And
and,
then
the
50.
higher costs and the uncertainty that comes around that. And even if you don't think that that's happening, I mean, factory activity shrinking in November by the most in 4 months. We got a manufacturing report this week, and in that survey, they did cite tariffs as a reason. I mean, this was a sector that was supposed to be helped the most by what you're doing on the trade front.
Look, tariffs, you're overstating. The fact is, we know, because we've studied it, that prices don't move unless tariffs are above 15%. They just don't move at all, because the suppliers and the distributors eat the numbers, and that's why prices stay the same. You got inflation at the same levels, cut to below 3%. I mean, these are key numbers. You heard prices coming down, energy coming down. It's not tariffs. It's simply a matter of
VWAP
there's
retest here at
idiosyncrasies
48.
in October with the shutdown. I think you'll see that pass, and things will go incredibly well next year. I think the huge amount of growth in factories, construction coming next year are going to be impressive. AI building is going to be amazing. We're going to roll out huge amounts of power. We're going to cut the price of power in America, and that's going to also drive the economy.
Yeah, I mean, those higher electricity costs, certainly a big deal. So let's talk about where you are on these trade negotiations. Out of the UK this week, 0 tariffs on pharma products. They're going to pay more for drugs. How did that come together, and what's the fine print that investors need to know?
Well, remember, the UK was the first deal, and we set out, and the first deal is always the best deal because they're the leader and they came first. So the idea is they're big companies, right? The AstraZeneca, for example, and GSK, they agreed to build in America, number one, and number two, to cut their prices of drugs to Medicaid and Medicare in America. So they did the two key things. So they're big companies, did the two key things, and then we took that deal and made that deal available generally for the UK. They raised their prices they're going to pay for drugs, so that makes it easier for our companies to lower the prices here. And then they're building in America, so this is a 3-year term while they build in America, and that's how it's going to work. That is the sort of the driven model of the Trump administration for pharmaceuticals. Build in America, cut your prices here, and we'll give you a break on tariffs while you do it.
Do you think that could work for Europe, which also, I mean, they manufacture a lot of drugs in places like Ireland? Could we see 0 tariffs there as part of those discussions?
Microsoft getting
I think
hit
that's
again.
a different, that's a giant deal.
SPY's trying to hold
Europe
green.
Got
Qs are trying to go back to VWAP.
A $20 trillion economy. So they've just got to get all of the trade deal that we did in place before we roll on to the next thing. And I was just in Brussels last week, and I was talking to them. They very much want to deal with us. And I said, look, you got to lay off our tech companies. There's a balance. These are trade deals. You got to trade for the best outcomes for America.
Is there any indication that they'll do that? They've been pretty dug in on that, on those technology rules.
Well, I think their technology rules are costing them big time. I mean, you have the investment dollars available for these giant tech companies to build AI in their locations would be amazing if they laid off these rules. And what I tried to tell them is if you follow Donald Trump's
VWAP on
then
NQ
you're
is
going to
currently
get
like
investment the way
47.
Donald Trump gets investment.
So we're just below
right?
it.
$18 trillion committed to America. If you have ridiculous rules, you're going to get ridiculous outcomes. So rethink your outcomes, and so you'll get much more AI development. I mean, that's what I pointed out to the UK. $4 billion of tech investment in the UK. While that sounds nice, it could have been $24 billion if they just had the same kind of rules that President Trump has put in place in America. Encouraging development, encouraging building, encouraging growth of AI instead of attacking it like these European economies.
I mean, keep us posted on that. The Europeans love
S&P
regulation,
going
especially
flat,
on
Mag
tech,
7
which
going
we've been
flat,
covering over
Microsoft
recent
getting
years.
hit.
So what's the plan with all of these
Spies
sort of
going
deals
flat
and
at the
frameworks,
red
Mr.
to green,
Secretary?
green back
if the
to
Supreme
red.
Court does knock down the legality of the reciprocal tariffs?
Well, we're going to win the case. I think I'm confident. I was there. I sat there. I listened to the whole case. I think we win 5-4 or 6-3 because I think the president's absolutely right. He's allowed to regulate importation.
I just got knocked
That's
out.
the
I went
rules.
long.
He can do it with a fee and a tariff.
But
I
got
think that
knocked
is
out.
perfectly reasonable. However,
Small
we
loss.
have other tools as well. Right? We have tons of different rules. Like this building has 232 tariffs, which already went through the Supreme Court, and we won 9-0. So that's autos, that's semiconductors, that's steel and aluminum, that's lumber. So all those stay. So all these big trade deals, I
Microsoft
think,
got
are
hit. That's what knocked me
durable,
out
and they
right
will
here.
Stay. And I think if the unfortunate thing happens, the crazy thing happens, where the
even
Supreme
Spies
Court
getting
didn't
hit
side with
right
the
now.
president, which I think they will, then we have other tools, and we'll put them right in place. Tariffs are here
Simultaneously
to stay. The deals are
put
here
buying
to stay.
and call
Everyone
selling.
should expect this
Right
is
there
the
at
way it's going
10,
to be.
10.
America's going to be richer. Would it be a pain in the tail? Of course it would. But will it change the outcome for America? I think our ability to replace them is okay. I prefer and I expect that the IEEPA tariffs will stay.
I mean, I do wonder if businesses are hedging. I'm sure you noted that Costco became the largest and most high-profile company to sue the administration to get in line for tariff refunds if the Supreme Court doesn't go your way. What's your reaction to that?
Well, look, it's someone getting in line saying, if I'd like some money, I get it, but it's not going to happen. I am confident it's not going to happen, and we will have tariffs no matter what going forward.
Order submitted.
What about Taiwan? I know you've been in the middle of negotiating this one too, and we're watching. Of course, it's important with chips, and not all the chip makers pay the tariffs, of course, because they're building plants here. But there is talk about them training U.S. workers to build advanced semiconductors as part of the trade deal. Is that true? And where are you on this?
Looking for the VWAP retest
Well,
here
I'm
at
not going to
47.
discuss where we are with the Taiwan deal because we're in the midst of discussions. But the fact is, this administration's goal is to bring semiconductor manufacturing to America, right? When we walked in the door, all there was the CHIPS Act, and that really was just a disaster. It wasn't working. So we reshuffled the deck. We changed the way we did anything. You remember
I just got knocked
TSMC
again.
announced a
I was
$100
risking that
billion
low.
increase in their build
Man,
in
I was
Arizona,
just
up
looking
to
for this
165
VWAP
billion.
retest.
Micron invested more. Texas Instruments invested more. So we're up to like $300 billion in investment in America. I think when we do a deal with Taiwan, that's even going to be bigger. And of course, they're going to train American workers. The whole objective is to bring the supply chains to America, build semiconductors in America, build pharmaceuticals in America, train Americans to do it, and let's have that supply chain right here in America. That's the entire objective.
Piece in Politico this morning, Mr. Secretary, about a potential maybe executive order next year regarding robotics. Can you give viewers a sense as to how far down the runway you're looking on AI?
Well, I think, look, robotics and edge
The bot hit
computing,
again.
which you think about it is, you've all seen like a modern auto plant, right? When you think about robotics, it's really the arms that do the welding and the arms that do the screwing and those kind of things, like you have an auto plant. This is why America can reshore advanced manufacturing, right? We don't have millions and millions of people to work and do little screwing in things, but we can bring advanced manufacturing here and have 3,000 and 5,000 Americans, doing the technician, doing the air
Microsoft catching a
conditioning
little bit of a
systems.
bid?
These are high-tech, incredible technical jobs that pay incredibly well. We're going to train Americans to do this. This is the workforce that's coming. And I think robotics, drone manufacturing, chip manufacturing, pharmaceutical manufacturing, these are going to be the linchpin of American advanced manufacturing going forward.
Yeah, we keep having this conversation with you at this desk. This notion of reshoring manufacturing, driving employment, but also driving
Recovery
automation.
of 25,
Where's the balance?
30.
How many workers can
That's what I'm kinda
legitimately
looking for.
repair or maintain these machines? You understand that tension, right?
I do. Look, a semiconductor plant is a $20 billion automated plant, right? It's a clean room. But there's 4,000 people per $20 billion plant, and they're building 10 of them TSMC, right?
Looking
so
for
that's
this
a 30 to 40
bull channel breakout,
person
lower
jobs.
highs, lower
These
lows.
Are great jobs,
I'm looking for the
but they're
break, the
technical
retest,
jobs,
and
right?
ideally
They're
the
fixing
recapture of
robotics.
VWAP.
They're working on air conditioning systems because the room has to be cold and it has to be pristine, right? I met a pipe fitter. And I said, how is it? He goes, this is the greatest game of Tetris ever. I mean, you have to get the pipes in perfect location, in perfect position. And the guy said, this is the greatest job ever that you could ever have. And so the people love their jobs, and these are great American jobs. And we have to train 5 million Americans for these jobs because Donald Trump has brought the investment of $18 trillion. Now we have to train the workforce to do it.
Speaking of
Bot
advanced
went
manufacturing,
short.
X-Lite.
It's kind of funny. I've been looking for long opportunities, and the bot went short.
From the U.S., from the administration, from the U.S. government, $150 million. How do these come across your desk, Secretary Lutnick? Because I'm sure there are a lot of startups that are working on game-changing technologies that would like the investment of the U.S. government. So how do you pick the winners here?
Well, the CHIPS Act set a structure of some money to go for advanced manufacturing of semiconductors and some for R&D. And the Biden administration had literally sent out $7.4 billion into some fraudulent company called Natcast, and it was trying to steal the money. We recaptured all the money, and now we can use that money to invest in companies that will advance manufacturing in America. So X-Lite, as an example, is trying to augment the way semiconductors are made, right, and move to the next level. Right now it's called extreme ultraviolet. That's how you paint sort of the chips, the electronic chips, right? Silicon comes in, and then they paint it with extreme ultraviolet light, and that's how you create a chip that goes in your iPhone or an AI chip. So the X-Lite is trying to design the next generation of it and do it with other technologies, and we are always open for that, but we do lots of diligence, we have lots of experts, and we sort of help, if it's going to help America,
Microsoft is catching that
and
bid
companies
back.
are backing it and behind it, then we're interested in being involved because we need to make sure America stays at the forefront of technology and chip production.
Yeah, I mean, I know you mentioned at the cabinet meeting yesterday that how much we're up on the Intel investment, which is something that we have covered, and that's good for American taxpayers. But what's the exit strategy with some of these investments, public or private?
Well, generally speaking, the government just wants to make sure they're a winner. They've got
just
the
tagged
tools
VWAP
necessary.
again.
Remember, this is for chip production, right? You have the greatest companies in the world, like Google with their TPU and NVIDIA with their GPU. We're not giving money to those companies. Those are design companies. We're talking about manufacturing in America. We're interested in manufacturing in America, and we're interested in the next generation of power in America, fusion technology, fission technology, right? Nuclear technology. These are the places where we want to make sure America's got the power here. And the exit will be simple. If these companies are successful, they'll go public, or they'll have a round and we'll exit. The exit isn't going to be easy if they're successful. And because we see everything, we can be very choosy. And the American taxpayers, remember, this money was already allocated. We're just doing so much of a better job. When we put out money, we get equity that pays America back. We don't love giving out grants. We love giving out money to companies and getting repaid for the American taxpayer. That's what happens when you put a businessman in the Oval Office. He understands fair balance and making sure the American taxpayer gets the benefit of the bargain.
All right, well, speaking of the market, before we let you go, I always have to ask you for an update on Fannie and Freddie. So when can we expect that IPO? Is it something you can get done by first quarter? Because I think last time you were on a few months ago, you said that it was a sooner rather than later story.
It is a sooner rather than later story. I think that's exactly right.
5 minutes.
I would like to see that, but
attempting
this is
to
a full
retest
administration
on both
discussing it,
ES and
working it
NQ.
through. But we are
Breakout
well down the
comes at
road
600.
on getting a deal done with Fannie and Freddie, and I am excited about its prospects going forward. I think these are great American companies that produce great cash flow, but the key is we want to keep the mortgage rates low for America. The fundamental first driver is let's keep mortgage rates as low as possible. We've got a lot of ideas in the offing, and that's bringing them all together to drive mortgage rates down. Remember, you've got first-time mortgage buyers because of the Biden inflation, 40 years old. That is just broken. When Donald Trump left office, they were 33 years old, the average home buyer. And then because of Biden's inflation, it went up to 40. Donald Trump is on it, and we're going to focus on that kind of opportunity together with the agencies going public. I think we're going to do some amazing things next year.
Q1? Is it a Q1 story?
I'll leave that to the announcement later on.
By the way, one way to get mortgage rates, or at least the president thinks to lower, is the Fed. And are you involved in all in this process of choosing the next Fed chair? Did he ask your opinion?
Of course, he asked my opinion, but he has a really good list. He's narrowed that down really, really, really small, and I think he's got great choices. And I'm excited for the change because Jerome Powell is just political. He's just political, and it's ridiculous, right? Rates should be lower in America. We all know it. They should be lower, and it will make America better to have lower interest rates.
What did you tell him when he asked your advice? Who did you recommend?
He had
Tesla's
great
really
names.
going.
I know all the people that he was looking for. I had spent time with them all, and I had and I told him what I thought. But that's between me and the president.
All right, fair. I had to ask. Secretary Howard Lutnick, thank you very much for talking us through a lot on your portfolio, from trade to investments to housing. That is the Commerce Secretary of the United States.
When we come back this morning, a potential canary in the coal mine for the AI trade. We'll talk about this report about demand sending Microsoft shares lower this morning.
Order filled.
Plus, Krishna Guha from Evercore will be with us to talk about today's big miss on ADP jobs.
And Fanatics CEO Michael Rubin making news with us in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago. Remember this on CNBC?
What about the predictions markets? Very hot right now, fast growing. Do you think that there's a risk that they cannibalize sports betting?
Yeah, so first,
are you going to get in?
I'll give this to you first, right here.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm giving it to you right now.
Go. We got to make.
We're launching the next couple weeks.
Launching a
Fanatics prediction markets.
Market.
Absolutely.
Is this with Crypto.com, as rumored?
It is. It is with Crypto.com.
Order filled.
All right, we will talk to the CEO of
I
Fanatics
just took another
Betting
long and got
Gaming
knocked
about
out.
its entry into the prediction markets. Squawk on the Street. We'll be right back.
Betting and gaming, so I guess they're getting into it. All right, so the guy who was mainly talking was Lutnick, Howard Lutnick, the U.S. Commerce Secretary. I tried to once again, I waited for the pullback to this closing value. I waited for the pullback here. I didn't want to chase it to the upside, and I guess the pullback had more of a pullback in mind, I suppose. Jesus. This is not... I mean, it's all still manageable. I guess that's the joys of keeping your risk, but golly, they are not making this one at all simple today. At all simple. I keep getting interested. Basically, my last long was right here at 1022. We overshot VWAP. We pulled back. We bounced a little bit. I thought this was going to be the little classic double bottom. So on this breakout here at 1021, 1022, I went long, and I was just risking the recent low. And unfortunately, it went all the way down to 500. And now we're starting to get going. Oh, what are we doing? What are we doing today? I just keep getting chopped up. And I don't mind how I'm handling my risk, because yesterday I wasn't the most happy with my trading. So I'm trying to be really, really dialed in with like where my risk should be, where it shouldn't be, that type of a thing. So I'm trying to be like very, very cautious of it. Yesterday, even though I made money, I kind of took on more risk than I probably should have. And there's an argument that you kind of got lucky that it broke your way. Not necessarily the most fond of my risk management. Oh, golly. And look at that. These all would have worked. I went long in here, got chopped out. Went long in here, chopped out. So basically, any of the trades I took today, I would actually be green on if I just held to this moment. And I think psychologically, that's a really dangerous way to look at it. A really dangerous way to look at it, because sometimes if the trend breaks down, you legitimately have to get out. But it is, from just a trader psychology standpoint, it is frustrating. I got in, my first attempt was right here, around 36. My next attempt was over here around 30. And then my next attempt was over here around 35, 36 again. So literally, if I held any of these, I would have been fine. It's just when it dumps, it could have been really bad. When it dumps, it could have been really bad. Remember, like the woulda, coulda, shoulda stuff, it's going to be very, very detrimental. Very, very detrimental, because I think subconsciously this could trade you and be like, no, you got it right. Like, you should hold. But if you keep trading that way, eventually you're going to find the bad beat where it like legitimately keeps trending against you. And then that's when you blow out your account. So like, as psychologically frustrating as it is, sometimes like this is just the game that you have to deal with. Sometimes this is simply the game. Look at, fuck, man. We're just keep tagging VWAP here. What is the options flow looking like? Microsoft just caught a bid. Mag 7's up. SPY actually just got hit a little. Oh, man. SPY. That is a higher low. The Qs, we have equal lows. Tesla's off to the races. Microsoft's picking up.
Order submitted.
All right, let's take another shot at this one, see how it goes. Let's take another shot at it. Right? What's the worst that could happen? All right, let's mark out the intraday highs and lows. It's about that time. It's about that time. Oh, I would love to see us from right here, a little cup handle off this higher low at 1022, get us going. I'd love to see us get us going. My current position is a long position, pretty much at VWAP. Pretty much at VWAP. And actually, I got a decent entry. I mean, it's not necessarily going my way, but I did get a decent entry. Fuck, dude. Every time I get in, I'm trying to play this bullish trend. We were trending down, down, down. We broke that, popped, pulled back, higher low, popped again, another higher low. I'm trying to play this new trend that's basically been created since 950. Like, when I see these higher highs and these higher lows, like, that's a bullish trend to me. I like the fact that the Mag 7 popped, and right there I saw it picking up again. Even Microsoft was recovering, and I didn't realize it just got hit right now. S&P 500, nice pop there. Momentum could be improved, but I'm basically playing this trend flip right here. 5 minutes trying to go, 10 minutes trying to go. But overall, the 5 minute, really since 9, trending up. 10 minute, ever since basically 9, we are trending up. I'm going to be mindful of like a potential 600. 600 is up here. It feels like 600 is like a realistic test. Oh, it's all about risk management. You never know the next bar. You never know the next bar. Dude, we're getting no trend continuation, or at least I'm not taking wide enough risk to let it even try to trend. All right, I moved up my risk a little bit. Once again, I am long. I'm trying to play this trend right here. I saw a little bit of weakness, and then it seemed to switch at 950, and I'm hoping that this could lead us higher. But once again, you never know. That's why this is exclusively a game of risk management and not prediction. Of course, you want every trade to work. It'd be crazy if you didn't. That's just called being a human. But you never know. You never know the next bar. But really what I'm trying to do is we saw the options market basically turn at 950. A couple minutes later, the actual price started to switch around 954. And since then, we got the nice pop, pull back, higher low, higher low. So I'm trying to play that structure. It's just a painful fucking structure to play. It is a painful structure to play, at least as of now. But I'm also looking at Microsoft, which is catching a bid. And this is the main culprit of why we went down. I'm kind of using this as my barometer. Oh, what am I doing? What am I missing? What am I doing? What am I missing? Dude, it's going to come for me again. It's going to do the same shit. Knock me out. We're just having the worst time on NQ getting and staying above VWAP. SPY keeps retesting this red-green movement. We were below it, got rejected, went above it, knocked down. Like, we're just dancing around this red-green move. We're getting stuck to equilibrium. We're not trending away from it. And obviously attempting to trade a trend here when you're not trending is fucking horrible. Damn, dude. What is that low? It's at 500. What are we doing? So the SPY right back to this red-green where we've been dancing around. Oh, this was going from a bullish trend to now basically just sideways. We're just collapsing in on it. We have these lower highs and these higher lows. Basically, that was that third test. Kind of watching that structure. It's not the nicest one, that's for sure. Oh, feels like this is going to be a patience play. And because of that, I'm leaning slightly bullish just because I think the news was a little bit of bullshit, but more measurable than that. The thing that was leading us down was Microsoft, and Microsoft is nicely recovering since 1010. So this is why my bias in the short term is bullish, but also we've just been getting clapped for 4 or 5 minutes straight. So what do I know? Mag 7's flat, SPY is flat. This is just choppy flat, folks. Choppy flat. Fuck. Oh, do I want to bail? What do I want to do? We're now triple bottoming on the Qs right here. Right at that trend line. Fuck, I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to give it this test? Do I want to let it breathe here? Or do I want to just cut it and move on with my life and admit variance bit me today? I don't know. The main goal is to not get tilted. You know, you could take a loss. You just don't want to take an outsized loss. It is in the game of trading. Pretty much half your trades are going to be losses. That's part of the game. And you can't avoid it. Don't even try to avoid it because that's it. About 50% of your trades, most likely, anywhere from 40 to 60%. It's just don't. Whoa. Somehow went back green. What the fuck's going on? Something happened. What's the news? Microsoft popping. Did they clarify? I might have just got lucky as fuck, folks. I might have just got crazy lucky. What is going on? What the fuck just happened? What is the news? Something just happened. News. What is the news? If you know the news, shout out the news. What the fuck is it? It's not coming across on mine yet, and I'm trying to manage this position. So something just happened with Microsoft. Must have been a clarification on what that news was. And I guess it's not as bad as people thought it was because Microsoft is going. We're recovering. All right, so just in case this somehow dumps, I want to get my stops up to break even, obviously. What is going on? What is this news? All right, we're going to make one of these a free... how do I want to do it? All right, I'm long 2, obvious. It seems like the market is still trying to digest whatever the fuck's going on. All right, since I'm already in the hole, it feels only... do I do it? The only thing I don't like about moving my stop to break even is I'm on the north side of VWAP, and I wanted to be a little bit protected because it's not the craziest thing for it to retest VWAP. But I could always throw in another contract then. All right, I'm moving one up to break even to cut my risk in half, basically. Should I just do it with both and just pray? Because that would successfully... I could just move them both to break even, I suppose. That would be a fucking bummer, but I have to do it. It's just smart risk management. All right, so both stops are at break even. I'm trying to unload one at 600. 600 is important for various reasons. Namely, it's just key technical levels. Look at the 10 minutes pump in there. I'm right here, 97. I'm sure if you look at Bookmap, there's a lot of people probably trying to dump right there. Fuck, I didn't get the fill. Okay, come on. No, how close did we get? 97. We got up to 97. I'm trying to unload one. To be clear, I do have losers on the day, but my stops are at break even, so I'm not risking going deeper in the hole. I wonder if I should move one of these up just to guarantee. My break even on the account is around 90. Actually, maybe 88. Somewhere right where we are is where my break even on the account is. I'm just trying to, like I said, stick to my plan, be reasonable. And I think I'm doing that by, once again, to clarify, one of the best things you could do, especially when you're in the hole, is get your stops to break even. Like if you're in a hole, stop digging. The thing I don't like about this, like I said, is it could easily want to retest VWAP, knock me out for break even, bounce from there and go anyway, which means I need to be ready. I might want to manually close if I see it. Because when you're in a 1.4K hole, it's nice to finally see. Come on, lock it in. Lock that in. Come on, just hit 600. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Don't you do this to me. Don't you. You motherfucker. We hit 98. Come on. Just give me the fucking fill. Dude, hit it. How many people are trying to sell there? There's not even, like, it's not that bad. We've seen worse. It's getting kind of bad, actually. Fuckers. Yeah, it's kind of getting dark red there. Come on, give me the fill. Give it. Son of a bitch. I'm wondering if I should just manually dump one. Oh, come on. I'm trying to give it like a second to breathe. Come on. Come on.
Order filled.
There we go. Okay. So, obviously locked in. All right, so I have my reach target just at the next 50 rung. My stop's at break even. I might. Breaking, Microsoft has not lowered sales quota for salespeople. CNBC cites emailed statement from Microsoft on sales quota. So basically the news that got us to drop they're basically saying is not real news. Oh, shit. My break even is around 80. I locked that one in. Stops at break even. How do I want to handle this? What low is this? That's 49, but at this point, it might be coming like this VWAP. They just so love retesting VWAP. Do I just want to manually close this? Come on, maybe I could get lucky. Just bounce it out of here. Nice. All right, moving my stop up a little bit, hoping that this is just a higher low and we bounce from there. So anyway, if we take out that low, I should make a little bit of money, but I was down 1.4K, and as you can see now, only down about 400 or 500. So I got myself mostly out of the hole. I like to dump it there. Why? Because it's a key level. And look, we went to 601 and got smacked anyway. So that's why. But then yet, I didn't dump both because maybe there's a chance we get going. If they're walking back this news, we might have a nice trendy day. So I'm meeting myself in the middle. I'm basically helping out with my losses. Like I said, I made $1,000 back there. I was down 1.4, 1.5. Now I'm only locked in down, and it's still down. That sucks. But obviously, right here with this position, if it does go and we start trending, well, I have a chance. So I think sometimes scaling in, scaling out can like really, really help, especially with mindset. You don't want to be overly greedy and ride the full position, but you don't want to be conservative, like too conservative, because there might be a nice trend. And since you don't know, I like to meet myself in the middle by locking in some and then letting the rest run. I think that logic makes sense. This is the most bullish down day. It does have some weird vibes for sure. It is a weird vibes day. A weird vibe. And Microsoft, it is holding. It's not giving it back. Tesla is leading us higher. Wow, I can't believe they undid that. Mag 7's going. S&P 500. Interesting. How low did we actually go? We went to 810. 810. Interesting. Oh, where are we? Piper actually did fire on that. What is today? Today's December 3rd. Oh. Okay, if you're in the Discord, Piper just fired. I haven't done the trade myself. I probably should, though. And for those of you keeping score at home, this 77 right here, like literally where we're at, is my account break even. But then on this one individual trade, my stop's already in the money, so I'm not going to lose. But I do want to see if I can slap in a trade here. Vertical. Am I going to get lucky, or is it coming for me? I think I'll be pretty good if we could take out 90 here, this recent high, because we have these higher lows. We take out 90, retest the 600, and then break and go. So I'm just hoping that this isn't a lower high that vomits into me. As of now, the odds don't look the best, but we will soon find out. We will soon find out. We're hanging out at the, what time is it? 10:40. Tesla's looking good. Mag 7 is looking good. SPY picked up nicely. Microsoft picked up nicely. All right, I'm trying to get in my, if you're in the Discord, I'm trying to get in my premium selling trade. It's just unfortunately pending. Pending. And I don't necessarily want to chase it. Okay, I'm going to have to completely change my trade. Oh, I'm not the biggest fan of this. I'm definitely... Am I tilted? Okay, I got the order filled. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of this one, but technically the system is the system. So sometimes you just have to let the system take the wheel. All right, if you are in the Discord, I am putting this in right now. Just got the fill. Where are we at? All right, playing a more aggressive Piper. Okay, that's in there. Where am I on this position? Oh, we're looking good. So I'm going to move my stop up to 65. All right, so I am long at 48. We'll call it 50. So no matter what, I'm 15 points in the money. As you can see, I already locked in one up here at 600. As I was saying, if we take out this high, which we just did at 90, I was looking for the retest of 600. Obviously, I would have preferred if we just ripped. I don't want this to be like a fake out breakout, but whatever. My break even on the account is, I believe, around 77, 78, roughly where my cursor is. So I'm trying to really get my stop up to there, because then it at least guarantees that the account is green on the day. Obviously, I could close it out here for 400, and that's still a good trade. But I'm just thinking, if we are if we're in the middle of a true trend reversal, 5 minute is pushing green, 10 minute is pushing green, 5 minute is pushing green, 10 minute is attempting to push green. I mean, if we could go, where were we? This was the high at 653. That's where we were before this Microsoft news hit. And Microsoft is now walking back the news, saying that that's not real. So it's not the most insane thing to think that we just recover this sell-off bar that happened around 9 a.m. We recover this sell-off bar that happened at 9 a.m. So I'm just looking at that, which is exactly why, I mean, mine's at 48. What was it? It was either roughly 48. What is this one? It opened at 48. And my target's 48.50. So I'm literally just targeting that recovery, and I'm doing it in a protected way where if I'm wrong, I'm still making money, because my stops, I'm long at 48, my stop's at 65. So no matter what, I make money. It's just a question of how much money. I hope that, are there questions on that? Like the logic of how I'm doing it? The most important thing is not necessarily this profit target. It might undershoot it, overshoot it. It might exactly hit it. I don't know. The important thing is the stop and the management of it. That's the key thing going on right now, is consider the worst case situation. How are you handling the worst case situation? My worst case situation is I lock in $300, I'm down 500, and my loss on the day goes to 200. So it ends up becoming a scratch day. If I wanted to, I could be aggressive right now and move it to 85. That would ensure that I'm green on the day, but it would increase the chances of me getting knocked out, because who knows, it could come to 82, 83. It's just struggling at 600. I would move it to this level, to this 85 level, on a clear break and hold of 600. So if we basically push this, I don't actually even a little bit higher. If we push 615, 620, I'll move my stop up to 82 is how I'm going to do it. Or maybe I just do it right now. Oh, I don't know. It is nice to be definitely green on the day, because I only need $50. And I think if I get knocked at 81, I think I would be up the $50 that I need. I really do like this idea. I'm trying to give it a second. I don't know if it's just getting smacked at this 600. We did see quite a few people trying to sell at 600. I'm not seeing them there. All right, fuck it. I'm doing it. On that pop, we're in business. So if I'm doing my mental math right, even if I get hit, the account should be up at least $50 on the day. And that's my overall goal right now, is because if I make or don't make money, on this particular day. I still need the 5 profitable days or whatever it is, the rule for Apex, to be able to request. And I'm trying to request tomorrow. So my goal here is just to get in a green day. Obviously, if it rips, that's awesome. But if I do or don't make this money today, it's not going to change much because I can still only request out the 2,000 because I haven't done the 6 total requests. So for me, I'm basically actually, fuck, hang on. Uh, 896. 896. Runner, what is this one? 80.
Order submitted.
All right, on the accounts that the bot got fucked up on, I'm taking the same trade, except obviously I just entered now. I'm taking the breakout of 600, risking this recent low, and I don't know, hopefully it doesn't go to it, but we'll see. We'll see. Target 50. Close risk, higher reward, trading with trend. It's that simple, folks. Keep your risk small. Attempt to trade with the trend, however you define the trend, whether it's MACD, RSI, Bollinger Bands, momentum, like whatever it is. Define the trend however you want, whatever makes the most sense in your brain. And with that, that's actually the less important aspect of it. The more important thing is the risk management and the sizing. That's what you should always be very, very focused on. And I'm about to get clipped over here. Oh, whoa. Maybe I'll get lucky. A little bit of a double bottom. Am I going to get lucky? Dude, I'm never the lucky guy. Dude, I'm going to be so stoked if it got within 1 point and just doesn't clock me. Hell yeah, dude. Come on. Let's just take out this intraday high just above 605. Look at that. No, I spoke too soon. Get away.
Order filled.
Yeah, tag me. All right, that's definitely going to be it then, because there's, I don't know, maybe I see an opportunity. I'm happy to get back green. So like mentally, that's where I wanted to cut it, just so I can see green on these accounts. And maybe, I'm not going to say I'm against trading for the rest of the day. If I see a nice setup, and even this, if it starts to bounce back, that actually might be a nice setup. But I just need to identify some of these lower risk opportunities. Yeah, I guess it did just come for me. Oh, brother. Okay, now everybody enter long. Honestly, I think that would actually work pretty decently well.
Order submitted.
Is it gonna fuck me up here? I'm just trading on the smaller accounts right now, which wasn't my initial intent, but fuck it. Stop. Okay, I don't need this data series. Markers only. Okay, cool. Oh, let's do a sanity check. Speaking of defining trend, bullish.
Order filled.
Oh, that got hit, so not that good. Fuck, dude. Bullish. Trying to be bullish. Like it really is doing its best to attempt to recover here. Trying to hold. It's battling it out right here at 600. It's having the worst time at 600. We're right back into this cloud. So 5 minutes trying to go, 10 minutes testing. 5 minutes trying to go, 10 minutes testing. 30-minute on the S&P 500 is actually back on the bullish side, while on NQ on the Nasdaq, we have a bit more to go. Microsoft options flow after that pump is kind of flattening out. Mag 7 tilting a little down, but overall obviously trending up. And then same thing with the SPY. We got this pop at 1032 on the Microsoft news, and now we're kind of going flat. The S&P 500, we just ran into this wall, this key gamma wall, right here at 40. We ran into clearly some upside resistance there. If we keep going, spot gamma has an implied one-day move high at 6860. I kind of like this 70 better level a little bit better, though. I would expect a slight overshoot, which means I need to update this. I'm moving this down to 70. Oh, and the market just took a hit. So even though it didn't feel good in the moment, I guess that's exactly why I got out of the position, because sometimes it does turn. Sometimes it does turn. So it would have been coming for me, and these accounts would have been red on the day. So I'll take it. I'll take it as a win. Yeah, we just swept that. I wonder if it's targeting. Remember, I was long at 48 or something, and my break even was 77. So I would actually be net red on the account. So even though it didn't work out how I wanted it to, obviously on this pump, I didn't want it to be a double top, or even if it pulled back a little bit here or something, obviously I wanted it to keep going, but you never know the next bar. So I think this is a good, like, real-time, I guess, a very good real-time piece of information of why it's that red line. It is the stop that matters so much more. So much more. But a little double bottom maybe. Before, when we were having the worst time getting above, look at all these times we tested VWAP. We got above, smack, got above, smack, got above, smacked. On the fourth attempt, we finally got up. So now maybe it's support. Maybe it's going to give us the old flippity-doo-dah. The old flippity-doo-dah. The old flippity-doo-day. You never know. We're at the 1 minute 50 EMA, so maybe some buyers come in here. This is also VWAP. I'm more interested to see how they decide to handle it. Mag 7's turning a little. SPY's turning a little. Microsoft, it's turning a bit, but it's mainly holding this push. We are at the 30-minute Orbo breakout, which also I believe happens to be pretty much the 1 hour breakout as well. Qs ran up to the red to the green move, got smacked. So I'm just looking for that higher low to see if there's a continuation. But Microsoft got that big pop, giving a bit back here. Where was it before? It still hasn't recovered. Think about how quote unquote illogical that is. Is the news that hit the market, they're saying is not true, and yet it was trading at 489, and now we're trading at 491. So it's still down by $8 from where that was. What a crazy thing. Maybe we aren't officially switching trend. Maybe we just ran all the way back up to get smacked. Maybe we're running all the way back up just to get smacked. We've seen that before. Just because you're testing doesn't mean it's going to break. It's more of just a key thing to watch. Are we getting above and being bullish, or do we just run up to get smacked? So very close. Basically on NQ, I'm watching the 600 level, and on ES, I'm watching the 50 level. And just trying to see if we can get in a low risk trade from that point. There was a bull flag on the 1 hour chart on SPY with added resistance. It did some charting and the pattern shows up. It trends to sell hard for 2 to 3 days. Yeah, you just made that up. You have no actual data that backs that up. You saw it once or twice, and now you're holding it as gospel. And you might be right, you might be wrong. My point is that's a personal bias that is not backed by empirical data. Like, you didn't do a statistical study of that. You saw it once or twice, and now you're thinking that it's like a legitimate pattern that always plays out. Is the NQ you are trading the same as NQ1? Yeah, so the NQ1 just means it's the front month. And then if you're putting in the actual tag, that's it. But yeah, the one that I'm trading is the front month. So that's not technically always true, because sometimes there's roll periods where NQ1 isn't necessarily the proper contract, but that only happens the week of quadruple witching. But for right now, those are the same one. But anyway, coming back to that commentary about whatever the fuck it was with the 1 hour thing, be really, really careful. It's extraordinarily easy when trading to see something occur once or twice, or just hear someone say it, and without testing it or like actually doing like a rigorous study of it, people just assume it's true. And when your money's on the line, that's like a very, very dangerous way to behave. So if you hear something, even if it's from me, go fact check me. Go see. Like if I say whatever, like, oh man, the market bounces all the time off VWAP, well, maybe go actually test it. Be like, is that a true statement? Is it not? I find, and I've done this too, obviously, especially when I started trading, is when I saw something happen once or twice, or if I heard someone who I perceived to have authority, I would just assume that that is proper information. And obviously, it might be, and you hope it is, but it is really, really, really easy to hold on to things. And on a personal story, there were many little like things of the market that I was like, oh, like I gotta trade all these bull flags, this, that, the other thing. And then by the time I was like, maybe I should test these, there were some that were just like 50-50 and not right at all. But then the interesting thing was there was like legitimate concepts of the market that weren't 50-50 that I thought were true in gospel, but were like actively wrong. Like the studies said I should have been doing the exact opposite. So just be really, really careful of arbitrarily trusting people's statements, or seeing something happen only once or twice and then being like, nope, that must happen all of the time. Please be careful with that. Have you found correlations are consistent between different stocks, or does each stock instrument have its own personality? I mean, there's some things that I would argue are probably the same, but different instruments, different traded assets can definitely behave in different ways. Definitely. So it's more of like, what in the world are you talking about? Like when you're saying correlations of what? Like, for example, across the equities market, most trading volume is in the first hour and the last hour of the day. That's a pretty strong correlation across the entire market. So that's one that is true, but there's not many things that are similar between like a random pump and dump, like penny stock in the pharma world compared to like Apple. So can you think of things that are similar? Yeah. But once again, I'm getting another long signal.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Oh, we'll find out. All right. I took the long signal. Icarus fired long. I manually executed it. I'm risking the recent swing low. And as always, I'm basically looking for I'm still looking for this recovery. This bar that we got hit at 9. If you're unaware, it related to Microsoft and something with AI sales quotas. And then since then, Microsoft walked it back. So in my brain, it makes sense for prices to go back to where we were before the news, because the news is basically just straight up getting denied. So I'm just basically targeting the 650 level, because that's exactly where we started this sell-off, right at 9 a.m. But the real question is, can you take advantage of that trade in a low risk way? And that's exactly, I'm just risking this recent low. There's nothing too big brain to it. Matt, is the psychological stress still the same when trading for you, even though you made plenty of money? Yeah. The stress might actually even be getting worse, because when you make more money, you just start playing bigger. So when I lose, like let's say on a similar trade to someone whose account is smaller, if we're both losing 5%, in my day-to-day life, that 5% definitely feels worse, because my 5% might be a larger nominal value. I'm not saying that's a good thing. All the good traders that I hear stories of, they're like emotionless robots and they don't care about winning or losing. They just stick to the plan. You hear that all the time. I don't know if it's true or not, but I can tell you that I'm not that person. I definitely get very excited when I win, and I definitely get very upset when I lose. So when you have more money, you're winning bigger, so you're more excited. And when you lose money, you're losing more money, so you get really, really upset about it, or at least I do. I'm not saying that's a good thing. How do you feel about Tradeify? I don't like the daily loss limit, but I do like other aspects of it, but I have used it and I'm not 100% against it, but I rarely use it because I think in the world of prop trading, DLL, the daily loss limit rule, I think is complete bullshit. So I really, really stay away from those ones. Really, really stay or do my best. Once in a while, if they run like a really good deal or some shit like that, I might consider it. I might like break a rule here or there, something like that. But DLL mathematically is, in my opinion, one of the most predatory rules that goes on in the world of prop trading, and also the unrealized drawdown. Those are the two rules that I'm like, this is just fucking bullshit. So I don't, if a firm has both, has an unrealized drawdown and a daily loss limit rule, dude, fuck that. But once again, my own opinion, maybe you like it for other reasons, or maybe you're better at keeping your size in check than I am. There's probably a whole host of reasons of why you might be a little bit more lenient with it, and that's completely fair. That's fair. And Matt loses it publicly. Yeah. That definitely doesn't make it fun, because whenever I lose, I get shit on right away. Do you still use FFN? Yeah, I like FFN because of it is not unrealized drawdown, and they don't have DLL. They don't have either of those rules, which is why I like it. I'm just kind of waiting for their next big offering to buy more accounts. We keep running into this red to green. Oh man, they really don't want this to go green, do they? The NASDAQ here, we wick above, smack, wick above, smack, wick above, smack, test it, smacked, pulled back, found a base, pushed back up, smack, pushed back up, smack. Fuck. And this movement also happens to be that key level at 600 on NQ. So 622 is important just because it's where we close on the Qs. Qs right here above my head, trying to go green on the day, slightly red. But that is basically aligning with 25,600. So people in the futures market are reacting to that $100 value. So like I said, I mean, if it breaks and goes, there's a 50-point return in there. That's the 50-point return. That's $1,000 per contract, per NQ contract. Obviously, you could size it up or size it down if you so choose. But just trading one NQ, this break is 600. If my trading plan pays out, that's a $1,000 return right there per NQ contract. It's just the question of, will it fucking do it? Is there a correlation between 3D printers and Campbell's chicken? It's a bold question. The answer might surprise you. Man, it really does not want to be up here. Really doesn't want to be up there. I have a long at 77, which is actually, that's underwater. And then I have another long at 84. So I'm long at 77 on some accounts, and I'm long at 84 on other accounts. And they are... what the fuck? We couldn't process your auto pay because your associated card is currently delinquent. Well, that sounds like us. To fix this, please pay your outstanding card balance before making a one-time payment. How do you know if it's real or not? If it's just a random ass SMS. The amount of, I mean, it has to be fake because I'm looking at the grammar and there's typos, so never mind. Dude, the amount of like phishing bullshit scams that go on right now, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Oh, well, we're kind of just going flat. We're just kind of going flat. It's kind of going bullshit. We just kind of need to wait. We were a little bit range bound, broke it, larger range, broke that, and now we're just in a tighter range. Here's a look at Microsoft. After that, the pop, it's bleeding off a little bit, but nothing crazy. Same thing with the Mag 7. It got that nice pop, a little bit down. It's just nothing really there. SPY did actually just hit a delta high, giving a little bit back, but people probably just reacting to whatever they perceive to be as a key level. With respect to key levels, right here, 6835 is the largest negative gamma node. And if you're looking for a bullish play off of that, you might want to be paying close attention to 6870. That's where I'm seeing some positive gamma, which is also slightly an overshoot of the spot gamma implied one-day move high at 60. So somewhere between 60 and 70 is kind of interesting. Obviously, if you really get going, you can watch 6,900. On the flip side, if we get rejected here, crater below 6835, the next positive gamma is all the way down at 6,800 right here. So that's some reasonable downside targets, which would be sweeping the intraday lows. And then from there, 6776 is the downside gap fill that people should probably be mindful of. I don't like that. Fuck. We are having the worst time right here. ES, it's trying to get going, but see how this 10-minute keeps getting smacked? NQ just, it won't. The 5-minute got up. The 10 just smack. It's just having the worst fucking time right here. Oh, patience. Patience. You have to see how it goes. It is becoming a painful game of patience. That is for sure. Well, at this point, obviously, don't rush it. Like, let that A+ setup trade actually build out and just take it from there. Remember, if you want a prop account right now, the best deal is TPT. So that's pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video, but generically across the board on all of these, if you use that code Goonie, you'll get whatever the current best offer is. That's what I have for you folks. I hope you guys crush it. I hope you have a good day. I hope you make a buttload of money. Trump is speaking today at 2:30, but it relates to just new standards for vehicles. So I don't think there's going to be anything surprising from that really coming out. But I just wanted to put on your radar that Trump is talking today. Other than that, I hope you crush it. I hope you make a shitload of money. I hope you have a phenomenal day, and I will catch you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.